I'm an atheist. So as an atheist, I don't try to convert anyone into atheism. I just mind my fucking business. So if I sit with you all day and I'm like, I'm telling you.
And so you won't argue with him or debate him on his God.
Just like I told you, atheists, we don't do that. We don't try to convert people. Religious people try to convert us. So if my son...
That is so not true. What's good? It's your boy Zachary Carroll, aka Pastor Z. Welcome back to my channel where I help you apply the Bible to all of life's craziness. Ran across a video where Amber Rose is teaching us about her atheistic views. Let's react.
Okay, so when I hear somebody say atheist, I hear anti-God. Is that true?
No, it's just the non-belief.
Okay.
So people would say, okay, you're an atheist. Why do you hate God? I don't believe in God, so I can't hate something I don't believe in.
So you don't believe a God exists?
No.
And you don't believe a God has ever existed?
No.
And you don't believe that there's a Jesus or a manger somewhere in Bethlehem?
Sure.
Just the way he's breaking it down. Like you says, all right, let's get to the root. What don't you believe? You don't believe in God, which should really trickle down to all these other stuff. You don't believe in God. You don't believe in church. You don't believe in there's a manger and Jesus and somewhere in Bethlehem. That's hilarious.
Jesus could have been a man that lived on earth. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't care to argue that. It doesn't make him God.
Have you always been an atheist?
No, I was a Christian my whole life.
And then when did you convert to being an atheist?
I'll say a couple years ago.
Just a couple years ago?
Wow.
Yeah, it was about a couple years ago. So I was on a spiritual journey. Started looking into Buddhism, Islam, different denominations of Christianity, kind of trying to see where I fit in. I went to a Buddhist temple.
Therein lies the problem with spiritual journeys in this sense. She was going a spiritual journey to find where she fit in. She wasn't going on a spiritual journey to look for truth. If you're going on a spiritual journey, that's perfectly fine. If you grew up Christian, but you're not really sure that Christianity is true, you're not really, either there's only two reasons why people really just walk away from Christianity. Either they have been church hurt, or they have an affinity for some sin. There is an affection for sin, and that's like truly what it is. It's an affection for sin, or they've been hurt. They've been church hurt. They've had some spiritual abuse in their life. But so she was going on a journey to find where she fit in. So the flavor of spirituality that she liked. And that's the wrong heart posture to have. You should go on a spiritual journey looking for what's true. That recalibrates what you're looking for, and it will help you compartmentalize what you actually find. Everybody that's done that I know of, at least all the people that have spoken up about it, they have found Christ because Christ is true. The evidence that we have that supports the existence of Jesus as a historical figure, the things that he did, and his death, burial, resurrection is real. And with all the evidence we have, the probability is that it really did happen. If you believe in Alexander the Great, you must recognize that we have better evidence to believe in Jesus than we do in Alexander the Great. The first accounts written in history of Alexander the Great was written 300 years after Alexander the Great existed on earth. With Jesus, we have eyewitness testimony and accounts written 50 to 60 years after he existed. There is no other historical figure in ancient history with that level of veracity, that level of evidence. I'll just put it that way. So go on a spiritual journey looking for truth. Don't look for where you fit in, because then you become the litmus test. Your feelings, your emotions, your experiences become the litmus test. And that is not reliable. What you might find is what feels good in the season that you're in. But what happens when you change seasons? What happens when you grow and evolve and your emotions change and your desires change and your personality evolves? So what, you're just going to change religions? Like, okay, so Buddhism worked in my teenage years, or Buddhism worked in my 30s. Christianity worked when I was a child. Islam is going to work in my 40s and my 50s. What is that besides being lost?
Just nothing felt like right. And then I remember just being at church my whole life, and I was just like, people would be like, I felt the spirit, and I never felt no spirit.
Never.
That I am really sorry that she went through that. A lot of churches do that. A lot of churches are charismatic churches. They so heavily focused on a feeling, and it's not always going to be like that. Not everybody reacts to certain things the same way. Like if you hear a great worship song, that might cause you to dance. That might cause you to jump up and down, run around, cry, but it might cause somebody else to just stand still. Stand still and just, you just don't know what's going on in their head. And just because they're not reacting in a way you're reacting, that doesn't mean that they're not walking towards Christ. They're not believing. They don't have the Holy Spirit. The way that the Holy Spirit manifests himself in them is different than the way he manifests in you. Doesn't mean that it's two different Holy Spirits. Doesn't mean that you're in a higher spiritual plane than they are. It means nothing. We have multiple parts of the body, but one Spirit, one God, and we are unified in Christ. So there's a lot of churches that will try to emphasize that feeling. And then if it doesn't come, they make it about you. They make it like, oh, you're not doing something you're supposed to do. You're not believing as hard as you're supposed to believe. And of course, no wonder she walked away from that, because that's just that reeks of a lack of spiritual maturity of the people that she was around.
Hands in the air. Like, I would kind of emulate people around me at church. And no, and I couldn't even fake it. It was just like, why is everyone feeling things? I'm not feeling them. I can't even act like I'm feeling them. And I just did my research, and then I realized that I was an atheist. I just believe in science. I believe in evolution. I don't believe that God, gave us Jesus as his son from a virgin mother. And I definitely don't believe in the Bible. I think it's like cool stories, but I don't believe in most of the stories in the Bible.
What was the journey that took you on, or what was the thing that took you on the journey to denouncing Christianity and finding no way to believe in God?
I think that I just felt like my mom is very deep in the church. My mom goes to church 7 days a week.
Still
and at
right
night.
now.
Yeah, and at night and during the day and in the middle of the night. That bitch is at church, constantly. But a lot of Christians that I have met throughout my life, I found to be very delusional and liars.
Oh.
And so that's what initially started me into looking into atheism. Not to say that every Christian is like that, because I don't believe anything is a monolith. But
Okay. All right. So Christians are people too. Christians lie. Christians do bad things just like everybody else. But delusional, some Christians are delusional. Yeah. Some Christians are delusional. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. And for a lot of Christians, one thing I'm recognizing, I've been in ministry almost 10 years now. One thing, and I've seen hundreds and hundreds of people. Some people don't need to be that intellectual with their faith. Some people are good with, like, they heard the gospel and they're just, you know what? That good news is good. I'll take that. All right. It gives them a hope. And so they may not investigate the truth claims about it. And so when they get and they meet with somebody who, it's not enough that you just hear the gospel. Like it's not enough that you just hear the good news, that you need a little bit more work. You need a little bit more tilling of the soil before that seed is planted. You need to, ask questions, and you need to challenge things, and you need to, you're skeptical. You're naturally skeptical, and that's fine. And the Lord knew that we would be doing that, which is why He gave us plenty of evidence to come to the conclusion that He is real and Jesus was actually sent here to die on the cross for our sins. The thing is, He didn't give us so much evidence that it wouldn't still be a free choice, because there could be so much evidence of all this stuff that you would be like, you have no choice but to believe it based on the amount of evidence, because if He wanted to, God could right now come show His majesty. I mean, to do some crazy stuff that would just would drive us mad. He could do that just to show that He's real. But He doesn't want to do that because He wants us to choose. He sends us. I'm preaching on Ephesians 4 this week, and He said He gave some to be apostles and pastors and teachers and prophets. Like he wanted His children to teach others about His family. Who else than your brothers and sisters on earth to tell you about your brothers and sisters in heaven? So I will admit that some Christians are delusional, and she just had a rough go at it. Lord, I can understand why she is an atheist.
Yeah, I realized that I was an atheist, and I think there's no evidence that a God exists. It's just,
Oh, well, that would be wrong. I mean, just walk outside right now and you look at nature and you look at how everything is fit together perfectly, and how all of the atmosphere is exactly the way it needed to be for us to breathe, and the water is just enough to promote life on Earth, because that's like the key thing that NASA looks for in other planets is there a possibility for water? And if there's water, there's most likely life. So our Earth has plenty of water to promote life for us. The sun is exactly as far as it needs to be to allow us to live. Because if the sun was centimeters, millimeters closer to us, we would burn up. If it was centimeters, millimeters farther away from us, we would freeze. Everything is exactly the way it's supposed to be. That most rational scientists would say that it is ludicrous to conclude that there isn't an intelligent designer. That is one argument for the existence of God. I'll give you another one. All scientists say that the universe had a beginning. Now, when you think about it logically, how can something have a beginning, but nothing was there to start it? Like, how does something that has a beginning never get started? And if it did get started, who started it? What started? How did it get started? With what material was what material was used to start the universe? And where did that material come from? The evidence shows that since the universe had a beginning, there has to be something that's outside of the universe to start it. But that's just two. So she's just wrong about there being just no evidence of the existence of God.
People believe it and then it becomes true for them, but there's no evidence that a God exists at all.
See, when I think of atheists or people who don't believe in God, I think of people who just always believe that. But if you believed in God, did you ever believe deeply in faith? Like, did you ever have a real deep sense
I prayed for sure.
Okay.
I definitely prayed. But that's all I knew. You know, I was like indoctrinated into Christianity because I was just raised into Christianity, but I don't believe that there's any evidence for a God at all. Well, there's not actually.
So is there?
Okay.
So when the Bible talks about blasphemy and blasphemy being the one unforgivable sin from God, you don't even believe in that because you don't believe there's God. So there can't be that one sin that is going to condemn you to hell. Do you believe in hell?
No.
So when you die,
I don't believe in the devil. I don't believe the devil exists. I don't believe in any. I believe that they're fictional characters, and this is probably gonna make people really mad. But I believe that Jesus was a cult leader, and I believe that it actually worked, and they spread his word all around the world.
Jesus is a cult leader? Have you said that publicly before?
Yo, Jason Lee is hilarious. Jason Lee is hilarious. He's really good at what he does. Okay. Yeah. The probability is there's only two things. Either he's a cult leader, because one thing she's admitting to is that what Jesus did started a huge movement, which is Christianity. That's one thing that's very, very true. Can't be denied. This is another proof of God's existence, because around the time that Jesus died, from as much as we can tell from today's research, there was a huge explosion of Christianity in the Middle East. It spread throughout the Middle East. It spread throughout Europe. It spread throughout Northern Africa. The first apologist was a Berber who was from, I think, Algeria in North Africa. And then it spread throughout the entire world. It went to Asia. And then obviously in the New World, it came over here. So all of that started from this one point around this one area by people who gave their lives for what they believed that they saw. So my question is, if somebody knows that they're making something up, do you think they would die for it? That is much more unlikely than they believed what they saw. And what they saw actually happened.
Maybe. Probably on my podcast.
Because I just felt the internet shake. Maybe that was God. Huh? Wait,
Jesus, that you?
Jesus is a cult leader?
Yeah. I think it's more likely that he was a cult leader, yeah. I mean, just think about it, Jason, you know? Live, you know, by my word, do as I say. I'm a selfish God. I'm, you know, spread the word around the world about who I am. And then the people around him were just like, you're crazy. We're going to kill you. Because you're like indoctrinating all these people into your belief system. Like, cults don't have to always be, you know, I mean, he had some good lessons along the way, but.
Not he had some good lessons along the way.
Well, that is why they killed him. They definitely called him a blasphemer. They definitely said he had a demon, and they definitely hated him because of it. And they did kill him. And he came back. When he came back, everybody was like, oh, what did we do? And when they were killing him, Jesus said, forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they're doing. Most cult leaders are actually criminals, though. Like when you really investigate what they've done or what they do, I mean, a lot of them are sleeping with children or committing fraud. All they're trying to gather a bunch of money for themselves. Jesus has done none of that. He went around healing people, feeding people, teaching people, saving people. There was no fault. I don't think you can name one cult leader that was exposed that didn't have a whole list of crimes that a court easily found. Well, Jesus was on trial too, but they found no fault in him. They found no fault in him. That's the difference.
I'm just saying.
The church community is somewhere throwing Bibles at the script.
But they don't have to, because that's my belief, right? I'm not throwing anything at them for their beliefs. You're not throwing anything.
I mean, you just call them delusional. You're not just saying this is my belief. You're speaking as if this is like truth. There is no evidence for God, like at all. You're not saying I don't see it, or I don't understand it, or I don't agree that the evidence is there. You're saying there is none. So you're doing a little bit more than just, hey, no, this is just me. This is just me. You're doing a little bit more than that, but that's okay. That's okay. And I'm not throwing a Bible at the screen. I'm doing a pastor reaction.
Yeah, Muslims for their beliefs. We all believe in different things. That's why I love America. So we live in a free country to have these conversations. I'm an all-American girl. And, I believe that we should all believe in what we want.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew eventually we would have the show. I literally shut down in the car and refused to entertain it. And I think me being openly gay, and
God hates you. How are you gay?
See, but I don't believe that, and I've never read in a Bible that it said that. I think
Oh, yes. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. No, God doesn't hate you. It says this is Romans 8:5 or 5:8, while we were yet sinners, he died for us.
people take this book and have read and made many iterations in their mind of because you can't serve a God who's about love and peace and, helping those that are.
Didn't God kill like everyone on earth except for Noah?
I mean, there's a lot of people.
Yes, he exacted punishment on an evil people. He saw his creations on earth. He saw how humans were acting towards each other and we don't live in a world that had those people in it. He killed those people. They were so evil. They were so evil, he had to get rid of them. It said he regretted in his heart. He regretted in his heart making man. He regretted in his heart making man. That's how evil we were. And you can't tell me that you haven't heard or seen some of the most atrocious things that humans are capable of. And you've never thought like, God, why don't you take these people out? And in fact, that's another argument against the existence of God when he doesn't kill people that are evil. So which one is it? Is he evil because he killed the evil people or the bad people on earth? Or is he not good because he refuses to kill people that you want him to kill? Which one is it?
People in this world dying right now that probably should die. I don't think that death.
I'm with you.
Eye for an eye. I mean, can we get back to that? But that's in the Bible.
Sure. But that's not. But
wow, these two don't know anything about the Bible. Jesus corrected that misunderstanding of that law and said that, you know what? It's not about eye for an eye. It's about love and treating others the way you want to be treated and praying for your enemies. That's real love. It's easy to love people who love you. It's easy to hang out with people who you like. It's hard to hang out with people that you don't like. It's hard to pray for people that persecute you. That's love. And it's hard. It's harder. That's why he said it, because it's impossible to do any of this stuff without God. And the reason why he wants us to love our enemies, because God loves us. And we are his enemies when we sin. We become his children when we're saved.
But Christianity's the Christians don't live by that anymore.
You even went to the Vatican. That's why the Pope was telling you get out of here. That's why.
Yeah, he was like, bye, bitch.
Okay, so you're standing on that. Now, is there a church of atheism, or is it even
no.
Yo, Jason Lee is hilarious.
It's non-theistic, so that you don't believe in anything.
But do y'all get together for potlucks? Like what?
No.
You don't congregate?
No.
So you just bump into somebody in the produce section and be like, you atheist? I mean, like, I don't know, how do y'all even meet each other? Because you said you said you're not gonna be with somebody unless they're an atheist. You've said that, I think. Right?
Okay, first of all, that was definitely me trolling. I said some obnoxious things in that story post. I post obnoxious things on my story.
Watch, she got some Bible verses on her skin as tattoos. That looked like one.
All the time, so do not take it seriously. Would I prefer an atheist? Yes. I would definitely date someone that believed in God, but it's like, just, you believe in God.
Don't talk about it.
And I don't.
You do
pray.
you do you, I'ma do me. And then when we have kids, let them choose on their own. A house divided will stand. Mommy and daddy don't agree. That's not going to confuse the kids. That's not going to make them distort their own understanding of reality and identity. Oh, Jesus. Who would have thought? I'm being sarcastic.
I don't try to convert me, because that's what you religious people do. I'm okay with being an atheist.
But see, it's not just religious people. Everybody tries to convert everybody to their own belief system, no matter if it's political, if it's religious, if it's cultural, if it's like a certain artist. If you like a certain artist, you're probably going to tell your friends to like the artist. If you like a certain movie, you're probably going to tell your friends to go watch the movie because it's a good movie. We are constantly trying to do that. And I know good and well she going to be trying to convert her spouse or significant other who is a believer to being an atheist. Because when it comes up, it's going to be a problem. It's always going to be a problem. You cannot have somebody who's really walking with Jesus have a deep fellowship with somebody who's not. It's just, Jesus permeates too deep.
Atheist, and you live your best life, and we can coexist and be happy.
But to not let somebody pour the good word into you, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to convert you, because that's like saying you with the homie playing the video game, and yeah, okay, he may want some hit. You ain't got to give it to him, and he ain't got to want it. We all know what happens. But I'm just saying, like...
But that's like me. Okay, so let's put that in reverse, right? Let's put that in reverse. I'm an atheist. So as an atheist, I don't try to convert anyone into atheism. I just mind my fucking business. Mm-hmm. So if I sit with you all day and I'm like, I'm telling you,
stop the cap.
God don't exist. You need to come over to this side. You're wasting your time with the Bible. I'm not doing that. I'm just letting you love God. And I'm still your friend.
Oh, are you talking about like her friends? Okay. Somebody who lived with her, definitely gonna get that work.
So then if you don't believe in God, are you anti-Chick-fil-A? Because they got them religious beliefs that don't give us the food on Sunday. And
I love Chick-fil-A.
No, but closed on Sunday. You know, your ex-man had a song closed on Sunday. He's talking about Chick-fil-A. Mm-hmm. Chick-fil-A is closed on Sunday because they're God-fearing, Bible-thumping people that believe in no gays and this and that. But they gonna serve you.
Well, they hire gay people. They employ gay people. That's all bullshit. I mean, gay people are making money from Chick-fil-A, so I don't believe in anything like that. So
you would date somebody that believes in God. Christmas. So when Bash and Slash, do they get toys on Christmas?
Yeah.
But it's not Jesus' birthday.
Sebastian loves God.
Okay. And so you won't argue with him or debate him on his God.
Just like I told you, atheists, we don't do that. We don't try to convert people. Religious people try to convert us. So if my son
That is so not true. People who are atheists argue against religious tenets all the time because when you really think about it, a person's faith will inform on a lot of their beliefs, politically, everything. And I know a lot of people who don't have religious beliefs, are not that religious. Anytime a religious conversation or a statement or a declaration happens that has a foundation of religion or beliefs, boy, they get up in arms. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, they do.
loves God, matter of fact, I have my children's Bible from 1992. I kept all of my books. I was an avid book reader. I kept all of my books, and I just gave it to
But have you read the Bible? You're an avid book reader, but have you read the Bible? Well, the Bible is difficult because unless you know how to read it, it could be tough.
Sebastian because he said he wants to learn more about Jesus and the Bible and the stories. And so I gave him my children's Bible from 1992, and he loves it. He prays to God every night, and I allow him to have that freedom. I'm not gonna, when he gets older, he can ask me why I'm an atheist. But until then, he can love God. It's okay.
If he says, "Mom, come with me to church,"
cool.
you're not going.
I don't know.
You'll do anything for Bash. You going to church? Bash.
I don't know if he would ask me that. Like he knows that I don't believe in God. He'll be like,
knows.
Mama, I know you don't believe in God, but I do. And I said, that's okay, baby.
Well, that was pretty interesting. Let me know what you think of her atheistic beliefs. Definitely saw that she seemed to be surrounded by a bunch of charismatic Christians that probably didn't know how to teach the Bible for real. But that's just from her perspective. People who were at the church probably have a different perspective, but hope this was entertaining, interesting. Always interesting to hear an atheistic viewpoint. That's all I got for you. My name is Zachary Carroll, aka Pastor Z. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Y'all be cool.